Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing so y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, I waited a couple of days, kind of check it out, see what's going on, and not really people are mentioning what should be mentioned in the world of sport or definitely boxing, right? There's some things going on that I think should be addressed, but people are kind of, moving on. We like to tell you here, we don't move on for things. We don't move on from things. The things are important. Let's talk about it. First, we had that fight between Guillermo Rigondeaux and John Rio Casimero, right? Rigondeaux beat the hell out of that boy, right? You got a 40-year-old old man the dude can't even hit and look like an amateur chasing him. And the whole narrative is that the man is running in a boxing ring. You can't really run in a boxing ring. It's sour grapes if somebody can't cut the ring off. Actually, that fight should be taken back and given to the rightful winner. Like all this stuff, like Rigondeaux didn't win because he didn't let his hands go, but the other guy didn't hit him more. And this guy got total ring generalship. And just for the simple fact of somebody can't hit a over 40-year-old person, just because some people are coming to see a brawl and coming to see a black dude get beat up, doesn't mean that they're right. All this outrage against stuff, right, is wrong. They're watching boxing, and that's hit the dude and don't get hit. That was the epitome of that. And why move on from that? Guillermo Rigondeaux is still in my top 5 pound for pound. I don't care. Casimero about to fight Nonito Donaire. That's a fight between two people that are inferior to Guillermo Rigondeaux. And it's not even a doubt. You see what I'm saying? But we got just because he don't get hit. But when other people don't get hit, we ain't going to go way back to Willie Pep and stuff. But, even Tyson Fury bigger than everybody, we look at him. And all of a sudden it's good, upper body moving and not being hit. Even though all Tyson Fury got to do is lean back at being at 6'9". Not being smaller than your other opponent and still not getting hit. And no one can see that that's awesome. It doesn't look awesome to anybody's eyes. The hell with y'all. Right? That's you're not watching boxing, and you're supposed to be presenting it to people who don't know boxing and say, hey, if you don't like this, then I'm going to take you to a bar after this and where everybody gets drunk and they just kind of fight and throw chairs over each other's head, and we can go watch that. But this sport here, this guy is exemplary. What you're watching here is the fine art of boxing, and he's doing it perfectly. The other guy is a champion and can't even touch him. And we can't, and this guy's old. He's over 40 officially, but he's Cuban, and everyone says about Cubans that they could be even older. So the older you get, the more impressive that should get to you if you ain't damn racist. Period. And all that talking around it, because let's be real, people. If we're going to be going through enduring overt racism, it's out there now. Then it's going to be some overt calling it out and making sure that everybody overtly knows that we know what the hell what time it is, and we ain't got no fear of talking about it. And it ain't just on this YouTube. Anybody know you'll tell you. To know me will tell you. This ain't no damn YouTube stuff. If you going to be overt, so the hell are we. Period. I'm sick of talking about some Casimero. He doesn't deserve to fight Nonito Donaire after that performance and walking around smiling and stuff. Yeah, you didn't get beat up bad, but you got embarrassed. And you would have been anywhere if both of you guys looked the exact same. That would have been an embarrassing fight for the guy who keeps swinging and falling through the damn ropes. Now, let's move on to something else that's been taking a couple of days. That's kind of interesting. We have the fight between Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao was about to go down this weekend, but it didn't happen. Errol Spence got a torn retina and had to pull out. Right? We get all this outrage about Errol Spence is probably trying to duck or avoid, like we like to say here, Manny Pacquiao by, acting like he had a torn retina injury, and he probably didn't. So it came to so much outrage that they had to prove it. Now, Errol Spence have come out, his doctors, and they have proved that he had that torn retina and he had the operation. Now, the president of the sanctioning body, the WBC, he's Mauricio Suleiman, right, whatever, and he came out and said, yeah, that we got all the information, and the information we got from the doctors and everything about Errol Spence is satisfactory. Of course, I don't like him saying satisfactory, because for me, I'm going to tell you straight up what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a dude who's trying to make sure the people that's hating on Errol Spence because of one reason, that I'm cool with them by saying satisfactory. No, the doctor said that's what happened. What's satisfactory about that? That means, damn it, it's confirmed. Right? Give it a little bit stronger word. Satisfactory means, well, I would have liked that, heard this, and liked that, heard that. Right? No. It's more than satisfactory, but that's what he comes out with. But that's not even the issue. The issue is the WBC president felt compelled of getting this information of proof from Errol Spence. Not even 2 or 3 weeks after Tyson Fury didn't need to prove a damn thing with his COVID, and it was all kind of lies around that, all kind of irregularities, and and people are not saying the same thing. Seem like they're not on the same page with their lie. Okay, first it was an outbreak in the camp. Then all of a sudden everybody from the camp went out and handled their business and was doing what the hell they was gonna do. Then they changed it to just a person or two, and that person or two didn't have to prove it. And the WBC president didn't feel compelled to say, Tyson Fury, you just stopped a bigger fight. Can you show your damn proof? I mean, Teofimo Lopez didn't show his proof against Kambosos either. But that fight wasn't as big as Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. He still hasn't had to prove that. And just a week later, this is how little they think of you and your opinion. They don't even wait a year and let grass grow over the last transgression. A week or two later, they going to say, we need Errol Spence's proof, but we don't need Tyson Fury's proof or Teofimo Lopez's proof. And we're going to move on and be talking about other stuff and other videos and talking about Tyson Fury if he's going to fight Deontay Wilder and what his father said. No. He doesn't have a positive COVID test, so the hell with him and anybody that's not talking about that. Because that is what has to be. We just watched Errol Spence with eye patch all on, or at least showing what's up, and the doctors proved it. And we don't even ask about it. Everybody's moved on. Now, when I mean everybody, I mean everybody. So, let's bottom line, like I said, if it's going to be overt, then so are we going to be overt. And I'm not going for that one. We got to talk about Tyson Fury. I was like, so Errol Spence got to show something, and this brother ain't got to show nothing, right? This brother ain't got to show nothing. Whatever. But anyway, Manny Pacquiao going to fight Yordenis Ugas on the weekend. It's going to be a hard fight, but I think Pacquiao is going to be a little bit fast for the guy. I think Ugas is going to be able to take some blows, take some punches. I think he's going to be a little slow for Pacquiao, but he's a tough guy. We saw that in his fight against Sean Porter, but Porter was the quicker guy in that fight as well. So I think Manny Pacquiao is going to probably run rings around the guy. But, he's Cuban. He's just like Cuban, Ukraine, them boys. They can fight. Ugas is all that, but he's lost 4 times. I'm not sure if he's going to give Pacquiao a great fight like people are thinking. I think Pacquiao is going to probably do well on this fight. But, let's see what happens, right? Like I say, I think Pacquiao is going to kind of bloody the guy up and beat him unanimous decision. But we'll see what's happening. Now, when it comes to Pacquiao, you kind of just like to not talk about it because people are just fans, right? But if this was other fighters, they wouldn't say this. We're going to have to get off of that 8 division champ stuff. Right? I mean, we just be saying stuff like we were saying when Canelo was 4 division champ when he only had the regular title in the super lightweight, middleweight division. It was a regular title, but with him, for some reason, they counted it already and just kept calling him 4 division champs. Now that he beat Callum Smith, okay. But Manny Pacquiao with that 8 division, man, like, I am not going to even count the fights that I think were catch weights during those weights. Like, and my point here is, the reason why I'm saying that is because we have enough weight divisions, and we're doing a disservice to the other fighters that came 20, 30 years ago, but when it wasn't this many weight divisions. So we call him Pacquiao 8 for doing something that somebody else is 4 divisions or something, and then you had to, it was only 1 belt or stuff like that, so you had to beat the very best. Now you can beat one of the top 4 guys. And in Pacquiao or Canelo's case, you can beat a regular champion, or in Pacquiao's case, an IBO. He won an IBO super lightweight title versus Ricky Hatton. IBO doesn't count, so that takes us down to 7, and I haven't started talking about catch weights. So I just think, why are we saying that? Just 7 is great, isn't it? Right? 7 is great, and some of them titles, came vacant titles. You know what I'm saying? You beating a dude to get a title that lost 10 times already, for example, right? And if it was vacant, a lot of times, the reason why I say vacant is because not most of the time the awesome guys are gone and then it's vacant and you're fighting somebody that's not that awesome. But that would be being too picky. I'm just saying is, if an IBO title is a title that they're counting for 8, do you consider that 8? Because if that is the case, then Chris Eubank Jr. is a real champion right now. He got the IBO, what is it, super middleweight, I think he was. Right? No one looks at the IBO. IBO does not count. It's like a regular title too. They don't count, but they don't count for everybody. If Canelo has one, it shouldn't count. When Pacquiao had it in the welterweight division, it shouldn't have count. But as soon as they gave it to Ugas, and Ugas was happy about it, right? Everybody said it didn't count. Guillermo Rigondeaux fight Casemiro. Hey, your WBO regular don't count. All of a sudden. So those are those blatant things that are going on. So I don't like them, and I'm going to call them out. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? This is just ridiculous. Pacquiao's all that, but for me, I think he's less than 8 division champ. You know? If you go look through that record, you know, I think he's less than 8 division. I think we should just say 7 division. IBO doesn't count. Right? And the fact that he had vacant titles and catch weights, then 7, we should just say that instead of just blurting out things like that, like 8. And it's like, why would we want to count an IBO title? You know what I mean? But anyway, you know, back to the top. You know, Errol Spence had to show his injury, right? Because of the outrage that came about a torn retina. But another guy who always pulls out of fights, who has lied on many occasions, who has been doped, has cheated with his gloves, and has done pretty much every boxing transgression, we do not want to see the proof of his COVID. The WB's president doesn't feel compelled to make him show his proof, right? Bernard Hopkins didn't come out and say that Tyson Fury needs to show his stuff. He came out and said Errol Spence. Man, what are you, Toby or something? The hell's going on? So bottom line is, I don't like it, and neither should you. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, and I'm up out of here, y'all.